Hi, welcome guys. In this session, we will discuss about different types of programming systems in coding. So basically, we have two types. One is object-oriented programming, and other one is procedural programming. So object oriented programming is the problem solving approach and used where computation is done by using subjects. Whereas procedural programming uses a list of instructions to do computation step by step. Basically, these are either object oriented programming or procedural programming. These are different ways of writing a code. These are two different systems. Object oriented programming follows different set of rules, and procedural oriented programming system POPS follows a different set of rules. Okay, these are different ways of writing your application, and because of each has its own benefits, and each has its own advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons. So it makes object oriented programming makes the development and maintenance much easier. That is the benefit, that is the most and astonishing and wonderful advantage of object oriented programming. Whereas in procedural programming, it is not easy to maintain the codes, because when the project becomes lengthy, as it if it is a big project, then you have to write a huge amount of code in a single file. It will become very difficult to handle in that case. And object oriented programming simulates the real world entity. That's what I'm saying. A class is a category, then an object is a real world entity. So the real world problems can be easily solved through OOPS. That is the reason OOPS is famous. OOPS is hugely used. OOPS is humongously utilized everywhere, applied everywhere. You can apply through any domain. Say it will be there. And procedural programming, it does not simulate the real world. That is the biggest con of procedural oriented programming. So it works on step by step instructions divided into small parts of called functions. And object oriented programming provides data hiding, so it is more secure than procedural languages. You cannot access private data from anywhere. That is the huge advantage of OOP. Procedural language doesn't provide any proper way for data binding, so it is less secure than compared to the object oriented programming. Then the last one but not least, example of object oriented programming languages are C++, Java, .NET, Python, C hash. And example of procedural languages are C, Pascal, VB, Python. So now what we will do is, to understand the difference between, or the subtle differences between, object oriented programming system and procedure oriented programming system. So we have to code it. We have to take one example and we have to code it in our Jupyter notebook. Then only we can better understand the differences between these two. So then what I will do here is, I will create an object oriented program for one shoe class, and also I will do the same work using procedural program, and let's see which is more easier and more advantageous. Let's see. So to begin with, I will open my Visual Studio Code in that repository, and I have written a class. The class name is shoe, that is our category, and then I have constructed the category. I have added attributes. Those are shoe color, shoe size, and shoe style and shoe price. So now our physical rules to build an object, a real world object, is ready. Now we will add some behavior to that class. One is change price, second one is discount. These are the two behaviors I have added to it. Now I have subclasses in it. Heels is a subclass. No, sorry. Heels is not subclass. Heels is another class. And it has its own construction. And in addition to that, some of whichever attributes are common to that, it has lent it. It has lent it from shoes class. And it has its own behavior, that is double price. Then finally we have one more class. These are all separate classes. Ankle boot class. So basically here also we have built it this class. So I will save this file using a name shoe class shoe underline class underline mod.py. That is the name of the file .py. So basically we can call this file as a module, and this module consists of a classes, 3 classes. Okay, now I will save this one, and we will open Jupyter notebook. So here it is. So same thing, I have copied there. From here I'll copy everything and I paste it here in different cells. So first class is shoe class. Shoe class consists of 2 behaviors or methods, that is change price and discount. Similarly we have heels class. Heels class has calculate discount. Sorry, heels class has double price method, and then ankle boot class has calculate discount. So these are the 3 classes we have here. So now let's check whether what is heels. So heels is a class. Now we will not run these cells from Jupyter notebook. In spite of using from local, we will import. So if you are not clear about what is import and how import works, and what is module search path and all, you just go back, and if you haven't watched my module 5, that is about modules, you just revisit those videos. If you haven't watched, visit those videos and watch it and get a complete understanding about the import, and then come back here and continue this session. Okay, so now I have imported this shoe class mode module. If I go to that folder pops, this is that file. Okay, so now let me run it. Okay, no error. So it got imported. Now I will check what is there in that file. So namespace. Let me execute it. So if you see this, you are going to learn one more new thing. So in this list of namespace, what you can observe here is the top three are global scope, and which are classes, and these are inbuilt and these are private variables. So but these are global scope. Class names: ankle, boot, heels, shoe. These are the class names. So now what we'll do, we will build objects out of these class names. First, the first class is ankle boot object, and I will make this ankle boot object from ankle boot class. Color brown, size 9, hip hop, and then price and style western. Let me execute it. Oh, there is, what is the issue? Name ankle boot is not defined. Okay, yes, yes, I got it, because we haven't run that. So what I have to do here is shoe. Okay, fine, never mind. Error comes when if it comes, then you will becomes a better coder. If it doesn't come, you will never become. The game is over. It's that simple. Okay, so now we have created ankle boot object using ankle boot class. So let me run and get some of the attributes out of it. Shoe price, we got the shoe price 3,200. So now what we will do is, so now you got the power of object oriented programming. You have three classes, and using those three classes, that too you have that file somewhere else, you don't know where it is. Still you know the name of that module, that is shoe class mod. You just imported that module, and then with one line of code you are able to create, you are able to make an object. That is the power of object oriented programming system. So now we will, that's why it is my favorite. So now we will look into procedural oriented programming system, that is POPS. So to write the same thing, what we have to do is, here we have to code separately. Write the same lines again and again and again. Whenever you want to make a new object here, it is not an object, it is something else, but still in analogy with the object oriented program, whenever you want to make a new object, you have to write the whole code again, and then only you can make. For example, shoe color brown, shoe size 9, shoe style hip hop, shoe price 3,200. So once you have write your variable names, then only you can use your methods and discount, or else it's impossible. So now this is for one. Once it is done, then if you want to change the variables, means variable remains same, but the if you want to change the values, so now that's a brown shoe, now you want it for the black shoe, what will you do? There is no other option, bro. You have to type it again. That is the only option you have. You type it. Shoe color black, shoe size 8, shoe style formal, price 2,200. Next I have one more. Next I have one more shoe, which is white shoe, white sneakers. Then again write all the variables. I have Chelsea boots. Write the complete variables and write the full code again. I have winter boots. Write the code again. So if you keep on writing the code again and again and again, it will become a Ramayana. Okay. So, but still you are able to fetch the, you are able to get the same result, but the issue is it will become too big, and after when you revisit the code, and if you want to understand it, it is very difficult to make a sense out of it. It will become that huge, and it is very difficult to handle also if you have any bugs, and it's very difficult to handle. So that's the difference between oops and pops. uh, Thank you, and see you again in another session.